nicknamed Big House, became athletic director, concentrated on basketball to become America's greatest winning active coach when inducted into this Hall of Fame with 683 wins and 299 losses, and was the NCAA Coach of the Year in 1967 when his Rams won the NCAA title with a record of 30-2. And that the club was led by Earl the Pearl Monroe. John McLendon, will you please unveil Clarence Everett Gaines?
Winston-Salem State College hired a young coach, Clarence Big House Gaines.
He came here in '45, straight out of college, Morgan State. I met him on a blind date, and when he first appeared in the doorway, I thought he was the biggest thing I'd ever seen. He played football at Morgan. He loved football, but he learned to love basketball more, I think. He was a head football coach for a time at Winston-Salem State. Then he was made the head basketball coach, and he was athletic director at the same time. That was a bit much because he only got one salary for 2 jobs.
To make matters more difficult, he didn't know much about the game of basketball, but he had a friend nearby who did. John McLendon was only a few hours away at North Carolina College for Negroes.
McLendon went to Big House and told him, come and work out with me and see if you can't learn something more about basketball.
They talked basketball all night long.
A friendship grew out of those times, and Big House would tell you this, that he learned a great deal from John and that he sort of hung on his very word.
John McLendon was an unbeatable specimen of a coach. We call him the godfather of black college basketball.
As a coach, you're talking about a little innovative man. Listen, he was out of sight.
He played upbeat tempo all the way.
He brought a brand of basketball that was revolutionary at the time.
This motion offense that nobody else was even thinking about doing then. Wherever he played, other coaches would come in and sit at the top of the gym, and they would be feverishly taking notes.
Part Delaware Indian, part African American, McLendon was born in 1915 and raised in Hiawatha, Kansas. He was a superb all-around athlete, a strong gymnast, and an excellent swimmer. But basketball was his love.
He wanted to go to Springfield College, where basketball was invented by Dr. Naismith. But then his father discovered that Dr. Naismith was right there at the University of Kansas.
So he took his son up there, told him to go see Dr. Naismith. John McLendon walked into his office and said, "You're going to be my advisor." Dr. Naismith said, "Who told you that?" And John McLendon said, "My father." Dr. Naismith said, "Fathers are always right." And I think Naismith really saw something exceptional about this young man and saw the passion for the game of basketball.
Naismith told him that the whole nature of basketball was to have activity. And the better you could play, the faster you could play, the more entertaining it was.
Dr. Naismith said it always bothered him when he would pass playgrounds and he would see kids playing in one basket, that he did not mean for the game to be played in one basket. The game should be played from baseline to baseline.
When McLendon left school, he went to North Carolina College, became the head basketball coach, and developed most of his theories on the fast break based on the Naismith philosophy.
At that time, the type of basketball being played all over the country was basically a half-court game. Played slow.
McLendon invented a game that was vigorous, lively, at top speed.
Coach McLendon devised a system where the ball should be shot an average of a shot every 8 seconds.
A fast break from a missed field goal. With fast break from a made field goal.
Now you got it, boy.
When you play these teams, you better be ready.
Pass around, boy.
I mean, emotionally and physically, the whole ball of wax, so they're coming at you.
John McLendon invited Big House Gaines to go on recruiting trips with him, something unheard of today.
But Mac and I hit it off, and I think that he and Brutus had this relationship of practicing together and doing this and that, so we just continued it. I didn't have a car, and when you get holed up with a guy and practice a weekend and go down there, they beat the devil out of us because he had the personnel. But whatever you ask him, he shared it with you. This is how you achieve this, accomplish this. And as far as fast break was concerned, I don't think anybody ran the fast break any better than he did. Frankly, I don't think anybody ran the fast break any better than we did. And as we recruited around, we went in his car. Most of the time we had the hotels weren't open. In the spring of the year, we would drive so far and go to sleep in the car. I always got the back seat because I couldn't get under the steering wheel. And as we'd go in to recruit, you'd be surprised at how little knowledge our people had of colleges and this, that, and so forth and so on. There was somebody I was looking for. We'd go in together, and I'd do it. We were both from Winston-Salem. His place, he had all the connections. We'd be from North Carolina College. It was, excuse me, I think it was an excellent relationship. It was a heck of a learning experience for me about basketball and in life. John was, I guess, about 8 or 9 years older. But he's one of the few black guys, actually, that really concentrated just on basketball. And I thought we'd done a pretty good job over here one year. The same Dr. Boo Brown, my classmate. And we started the he started the North Carolina College Tournament. It was held in Shaw's Gymnasium. That was the newest building in the area. Had a parquet floor in it. We got to the scene. We got to the finals that last night. And this classmate and teammate of mine, we thought we had prepared well. Final score, North Carolina's College for Negroes, 119. Winston-Salem Teachers College, 65. And we looked at each other and said, man, let's go get some ball play. Now, a guy beats you 119 to 65. And if you're too dumb to realize that he's got a more powerful car than you have, there's something wrong with you. We became competitive, but as far as my national and international contacts are concerned, John was responsible. He helped me develop a sense of professionalism that really paid off. The NEI, in its program, all of the black schools in America belonged to one district. He had 32 districts, and that was District 29. And all the kids really needed to do was compete. And Texas Southern, the schools down south, then McLendon himself, after he left North Carolina Central, won the NAIA championship 57, 58, and 59 3 straight years. So it wasn't a matter that these little men of color couldn't play basketball, they just needed opportunities.